Donald Trump's approach to winning elections was a masterclass in strategy. He built a strong personal brand as a successful businessman, using bold messaging to dominate the news cycle. By tapping into the frustrations of working-class voters, he positioned himself as the outsider ready to drain the swamp. His mastery of social media, especially Twitter, allowed him to communicate directly with voters, bypassing traditional media filters. Focusing on key swing states, he resonated with rural Americans and those in the Rust Belt, promising to bring jobs back. Controversy became his ally. He played the victim and redirected conversations to keep opponents on the defensive. Simple, repetitive slogans like "Make America Great Again" energized his base, while his rallies created a sense of community. By attacking opponents relentlessly and leveraging media coverage, Trump crafted a narrative that resonated deeply with many Americans, making him a formidable force in both the 2016 and 2020 elections. Donald Trump's approach to winning elections is often discussed in terms of several key strategies and tactics he used during his campaigns. While some were highly unconventional, they resonated with a large segment of voters. Here are a few tips and tricks that contributed to his success in the 2016 and 2020 U.S. presidential elections. Strong personal brand. Trump capitalized on his identity as a successful businessman and TV personality, using it to create a larger-than-life persona. His slogan, "Make America Great Again," became a rallying cry for many of his supporters. Bold messaging. His straightforward, often controversial statements kept him in the media spotlight. This was a key part of his strategy to dominate the news cycle and maintain constant visibility. Addressing voter frustration. Trump effectively tapped into the frustrations of many working-class voters, especially those who felt left behind by globalization, economic change, and political elites. His rhetoric frequently focused on promises to bring jobs back and challenge the status quo. Populist messaging. He presented himself as a candidate who would drain the swamp in Washington, D.C., appealing to voters who were tired of what they perceived as corruption in government. Twitter mastery. Trump used Twitter as a direct channel to communicate with voters, bypassing traditional media. This allowed him to set his own narrative and stay in the public eye. His controversial tweets often went viral, keeping his name at the forefront of political discourse. Social media influence. His campaign leveraged social media to target key demographics with tailored messages, often using ads that resonated with voters' concerns or fears. Focus on swing states. Trump's team focused heavily on battleground states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Florida, which were key to his narrow victory in 2016. The strategy of focusing on areas where he could win over disaffected voters helped him secure critical electoral college votes. Rural America and Rust Belt appeal. Trump's messages on immigration, jobs, and trade resonated particularly well with rural voters and those in industrial areas struggling with economic decline. Anti-establishment rhetoric. Trump's outsider status allowed him to position himself against the political establishment, which appealed to voters who felt that career politicians had failed them. America First. His America First foreign policy resonated with voters who were concerned about the U.S. losing influence in global affairs and were wary of international trade deals and immigration, playing the victim. Trump often portrayed himself as the victim of the media, the political establishment, and even parts of his own party. This resonated with voters who saw him as a champion standing up to the system. Using controversy as a tool. Trump frequently used polarizing statements and controversial topics to redirect the conversation and keep his opponents on the defensive. This tactic kept him in the headlines and made his campaign the center of attention. Simple, repetitive messaging. Trump often used simple slogans and phrases that were easy to remember and repeat. Build the wall, lock her up, and make America great again became mantras that energized his base. Anti-immigration stance. His tough stance on immigration, particularly the promise to build a border wall with Mexico, energized a large segment of his supporters who viewed it as a way to protect American jobs and security. Rallying support. Trump held large, boisterous rallies that helped create a sense of community and enthusiasm among his supporters. These rallies were a way for his base to feel part of something bigger and allowed him to directly connect with voters. Evangelical support. His courting of evangelical Christians, focusing on issues like abortion and religious freedom, helped solidify a key voting bloc that helped secure his victory in 2016. Attacking the opposition. Trump was relentless in attacking his rivals, including his primary opponents and later Hillary Clinton. He often used nicknames like Crooked Hillary to undermine their credibility. Clinton's email scandal. The repeated focus on Hillary Clinton's email scandal was a major part of his 2016 campaign narrative, reinforcing his anti-establishment message and portraying Clinton as untrustworthy. Media manipulation. Trump's relationship with the media was complex. While he often criticized them, he also understood how to manipulate media coverage to his advantage. His use of sensationalism ensured his campaigns were consistently in the headlines. In summary, Trump's electoral success was driven by a mix of branding, messaging, social media strategy, populist appeals, and targeting key voter groups. His ability to present himself as an outsider challenging the establishment resonated deeply with many voters, while his media savvy and controversial style kept him in the public eye.